And a very good evening and welcome to Pitch Points in collaboration with Afrobeat Live Fan Zone. Today I have with me three wonderful guests. I have all the way from the UK, Kyle, welcome.
Thanks for having me on, mate. Yeah, appreciate it. How are you?
Fantastic, mate. Kyle's an Everton fan, but more importantly, he loves football. And we chat with him on Twitter. We chatted on different forums and different platforms, and it's always good to have him give his opinion about football and also Everton. He has a good eye for good football, so we're glad to have him on Afrobeat Live Fan Zone in collaboration with Pitch Points today. I also have with me two normal brothers who also love the game tremendously. I'll start with my Chelsea brother, Ty. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me again. It's always a good time to be here. So let's talk about the things that we love.
And Ty, not only is he a Chelsea fan, but he's also the owner and chairman of Afrobeat Live, a media, entertainment, and sports channel that I'm a part of. So always glad to collaborate with him and get things done for the love of football. And also I have my City Blue brother, Mr. Ade Inka George. Welcome, man. You're on mute. Can't hear you, brother. Can you hear me? Okay. Ty, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you.
Oh, yeah. Now we hear you now. Welcome.
Sorry about that. I had
a
quick fix to my audio before the show started.
It's been a good week for all of us, except for Kyle, right? I mean, generally in the Premier League, it's been a good week for Chelsea. That's what you guys keep winning. Clean sheets. City seem to just be pulling ahead of everyone while they drop points. Everton, unfortunately, the FA Cup. You guys got through to the FA Cup next round, but beats in Tottenham, so that's good. But against Fulham, I think you guys were tired. But it's been a generally good week, right?
Tell me, you're asking me or you're asking Kyle?
Just generally, anyone. Just real quick.
Oh yeah, for us, it's been a good week. 5 winning games in a row. It's been a good week. A lot of football. During this pandemic, is been good for us mentally. It's a good break since you're not really going anywhere. You can really go watch physically, and there's been a lot of entertaining games, a lot of surprises. A few upsets, but me as a Chelsea fan, I've enjoyed it. 5 winning streak. And I've enjoyed watching City. To be honest, I have to say I'm surprised that City has picked without Kevin De Bruyne. That's a pleasant surprise. I thought they were going to have some issues as far as going forward without having Aguero and Kevin De Bruyne in. So it's a pleasant surprise.
Absolutely. Well, let's get to the business of today. So today we're going to talk about the Champions League. So today, even though we're Premier League fans, the goal today is to talk about the Champions League because it's about to start again. It's the mad season's about to start again. And we have some crazy games coming up tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then we have the other competition that, the others are in. No, just kidding. The Europa League, which is also Thursday as well. We have Man United, Leicester, and Tottenham with the Europa League. So we'll talk about those basically 3 match days before the weekend starts again with the Premier League. So we'll start with tomorrow's big game, the two of them, FC Barcelona versus PSG. Adi, what are your thoughts about that game? How do you see that game playing out from a tactical perspective? How do you see that coming out?
This one's really tough to call because lately things, Barcelona's in a good groove right now. They've won 5 straight in the league. They're playing very well. I think for the game they had against Alves, they didn't have Piqué, and they had Messi with a whole bunch of some of their newer guys, and they played really well. They complemented Messi really well in that game. So with Neymar being out and PSG having to rely just on Neymar, what's his name, Mbappe, and some of the other veterans they have on the team. I don't know how that plays out with I think it's evenly matched even without Neymar, because I think PSG's kind of used to playing without Neymar a lot because he's always injured. So I don't know this game. If the same team that Barcelona played against Alves plays again, and they play the same way, I think they beat them easily. But this is the thing with Barcelona. They haven't. I don't think they really come together yet because 1 week is this person out, this person in, and if Messi's always kind of consistent, so it's hard to. I think this game is evenly matched even without Neymar. Funny enough.
It really is an exciting game, Carl. Carl, what do you think the Pochettino factor will be in this game? We know that Poch likes the high press. He likes to play that. What do you think he's going to do in this game to nullify Barcelona?
I think he's got a number of different tactics he could play. He could play, like you said, the high press, or he could sit a bit more back and a bit more deeper. But I think, again, you look at Barca, like he said, that they're starting to find the form in the league, and their only losses to Sevilla in the Copa del Rey. So, they're in good form. But so are PSG. They've lost 1 in their last 6. But again, not just Neymar's out, Di Maria's out, so that's another big loss for them. Which means they could switch formation up and maybe play 2 up front with the Everton man, Moise Kean, who's in phenomenal form for them, and Mauro Icardi with maybe Mbappe as a wide striker or as a wide number 10 somehow. So there's a lot of different options, but it's a good game of football, isn't it, for us neutrals? And to watch Messi, this could be Messi's last year. But I know what Koeman's like as a coach. He's a very stubborn man, and he bottles the big games. He's not a very good manager in the big games, and I think that will be his downfall. And I think their over reliance on Messi could really struggle. And we all know Messi's incredible; he's phenomenal. But I think if you over rely on him, we saw that when he lost to Bayern. Was it 8-2, 8-3? They over relied on him too much, and every pass was going to him, and you can't do that because world class teams like PSG, Bayern Munich, City, Borussia Dortmund, Liverpool, they find you out. And I think if he does that, I think if they do that and over rely on Messi, I think PSG could very well wash them away.
Carl, how do you explain Moise Kean? Because he used to play for Everton, right? Everton. Yeah. How do you explain the fact that he's performing now? Is it the French league, which and some people call a farmers league, or did he find his right spot in the team? How do you explain his performance so far? Because he's improved.
I think he's a great player, and I think there's a saying, isn't there, where form's just temporary and class is permanent. And I think that's the thing with Keane. I think he's a great striker, but I think, again, you're going to have to do something special to start over Dominic Calvert-Lewin for us right now. He's on fine form, but I think he's at a club where he appreciates the fans, and I don't think Keane set off with us. He only scored 2 goals in last season, and he was scored 2 at the start of this season, but they were in the Carabao Cup against Salford and Fleetwood. He's on fine form, but yeah, he could pop up and score. PSG definitely have the better attacking options, even with Neymar and Di Maria, because they've still got Moise Kean, Icardi, Di Maria, Sarabia, so they've still got a lot of good players, haven't they?
Ty, let me ask you this question, Ty. How does Barcelona deal with Mbappe's dynamism at the back? Because Barcelona, their defense is really bad. They have I think Piqué is injured and maybe coming back. Umtiti has been a shambles. They're too young. Fullbacks are American kids who are still young. How do they deal with him?
I mean, reviewing this game before we started the show, I was looking at it, I was like, whoever have the better defense win, right? Because Barcelona's form is temporarily good. They haven't really performed and been consistent this year. It's going to be whoever can put up the most defense. Obviously, PSG is missing, like you said, Di Maria. I think they're missing 3 top club players that they would need. But over the 2 leg, I think if I have to guess, I would guess that PSG will win over the 2 leg. But this game, this week, I don't see PSG win. If they get a draw, if they can keep Messi, caged to an extent. And hopefully that Griezmann doesn't get lucky, because Griezmann is familiar with the French player. He's familiar with those guys. And I don't know if the Barcelona defense can keep up with the pace of Mbappe, because Di Maria can drop the ball on Mbappe's feet at 60 miles per hour. Do they have somebody else that can do that without Di Maria playing? So I think the better defense win. And Mbappe has got to have a game of his life. This is the time for him to really prove himself that, hey, I'm a superstar, I have arrived. So this is his opportunity to shine. So that's what it boils down to, defense. And Messi is going to be Messi. I'm not going to put it out there and say it depends on how Messi performs. It all depends on how Mbappe performs.
I watched PSG versus, I think it was the last game they played this weekend, Marseille, I think it was. And Mbappe, this guy passed the ball to Mbappe. He was behind the last defender. So it was clearly onside by like 20 yards. This guy ran over, took the defender, and still went down to score the goal. I mean, his pace is just, I mean, I saw him live at the Etihad, when we played them, when it was in Monaco. My God, that guy is quick. I don't know how Barcelona are going to keep up with this guy, because they like to play a high line, they like to play possession football. Porto probably going to do counter-attacking. How are do they stop it?
I mean, I think both teams are gonna be suffering from the same problems. They're gonna try to rely on Messi. If it's a bunch of the younger players playing for Barcelona, they're gonna defer a lot to Messi. And same as PSG. If Mbappe is the only one out of those top guys for PSG that's playing, they're going to depend on him a lot. So you're depending on basically two people to win you the game. So I believe Ty is kind of right on that, where he says defense is kind of going to win this game.
Yeah.
Because from an offensive standpoint, you know what to expect from each team. Messi's the creator here. Mbappe is the danger man here. How do you neutralize those two guys if you're a defense? And if your defense can figure out those two guys, I will put my bet on figuring out Mbappe more than figuring out Messi, because Messi can score and he can create. Mbappe is just scores goals, but he needs somebody to assist him, like a Di Maria, like Ty was saying. So it's going to be an interest. I really think it's evenly matched. I wouldn't be surprised if a draw or a 2-1 or something like that.
They're talking about 2-1 score predictions. So you guys, Adi said 2-1.
Yeah, I say 2-1. PSG.
Wow. Okay. Good. It's 2 away goals. That's great. Carl, what do you think the score is going to be, man?
I think 3-1 PSG. I think Barca will score first. Surprisingly, I think Messi will get a penalty, which is very, very consistent. But then I think Mbappe's like everyone said here, Mbappe's speed will be too much for that back line to handle. I think he'll get in too many times, and you can't let a player of that quality in. And I think Mbappe will get a hat trick.
Ty, what do you think the score is going to be?
2-2. I'm going for a draw first leg. Maybe 2-2.
Safe bet. Cool.
No, it's not necessarily safe. I just think, like I say, they both can play defense, and they both.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I think they're gonna get out the first leg 2-2, and then put everything on the line the second leg.
Yeah, I was going to go draw 2. I was going to do 1-1, but I'm not going to sit on the fence. I think this will be 2-1 PSG. But there is a kid I'm looking out for at Barcelona. This Francesco Trincao.
Yeah, that guy's good. He's good.
Yeah, watch that guy. He's really good.
I watched him. I watched him this weekend with I don't know if I'm saying it, Alaves.
Alaves, correct.
Alaves, man, that kid is good. I mean, he scored a rebound goal, and he scored one really great goal in that game. He's the real deal. But for that game, Messi was just creating havoc. He was just if Messi plays like that against PSG, then maybe I might switch my bet. But I don't know if he'll be able to duplicate what he did with that team, because again, that's Alves and this is a PSG, so it's a different ball game.
We have a comment here from Idris who says, "Don't sleep on Puig and Pedri." Yeah, for Barca, couldn't get the lineup right. Yeah, you're right. Ricky Puig is good. Pedri's that young kid that Messi likes to play with. With Trincao, this game could go all Barcelona. Right? It could be 3-1 Barcelona if they click. Yeah. But I don't know if that backline can hold up Mbappe.
Like you said, though, Carl, and Adi said it perfectly, really. It's about Koeman, innit? Because it's about if you get the lineup right, then he very well could win. But can you trust him? And I was looking at his result against Pochettino as a coach. I think he's only ever beat Poch once. And that's a worrying start, isn't it? I know it's different teams, obviously Everton and Southampton are different levels to Spurs and obviously to Barcelona, but I think you look at that, and that's that, he isn't consistent, is he? And I think that Barca team isn't consistent. And if Messi wants to go, for that last season with the Champions League, then we could see. But if they somehow keep that the best player of all time, in my opinion, quiet, like Bayern did, it could be a very easy ninth, because he's like that player, isn't he? That everything goes through him, every pass goes from every world class pass, every world class shot is from Messi. So you've got it. It's a good game. I'm so excited.
I mean, it's exciting for us to be at home during this pandemic and watch two of the world's premier teams play. I mean, it's amazing, that
It really
football
is. Really
football
is.
is helping us get through the pandemic and getting us through all this. Imagine there was no football, there was nothing. We'd just be depressed at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
But it's good. But there's another big game, a game that interests Kyle in particular because he's an Everton fan. Given the Everton Liverpool.
Sorry, before you switch, Idris is supposed to call man. He says Coleman is going to play safe. I don't know about that.
Well, this goes to Kyle, right? Kyle, you know Puma. He's coached Everton. I mean, what do you think about that? Do you agree?
I don't know, because Koeman was that manager. In the first season, we blew a lot of teams away, but that was down to Lukaku. That wasn't down to him. That was simply down to Lukaku. We had the goal scorer. Yeah. And then when we lost Lukaku, we lost 4-0 to Southampton, 5-1 to Arsenal, 5-1 to Tottenham. We lost, I think Hughes beat us 3. No, we drew with Hughes. We drew with City, funny enough. Chelsea turned us over. He doesn't play it safe. He doesn't know how to play it safe. He just hopes that his best player will get him out of it. I don't rate him. I don't want to, I know a lot of people do, but I just do. I know what he's like, and I don't trust him. I couldn't trust him with anything.
Interesting. Again, it's always good to have the opinion of somebody who's actually a fan of a team who's managed by Koeman. So thanks, Carl, for that perspective. But let's switch over to the next game, which this is what I hate the UEFA Champions League for. They show these two big games at the same time. So I'm always stuck between two screens, trying to decide what I'm going to watch. They should figure out a way to schedule these things, back to back, so we can all enjoy the games like the Premier League, right? But the next game is RB Leipzig versus Liverpool. This is a massive game, guys. This is a massive game between two German coaches, two teams in two different forms. RB Leipzig is, I guess, second in the German league. Liverpool are what, 6th now or 7th? What are they now today?
7.
I don't know.
Liverpool, I think, are 6th.
6.
I'll check.
Yeah, okay.
6. Chelsea's 4. West Ham's 5. Liverpool, 6th. And Liverpool haven't won, in 3 or 4 games now?
3 games now.
3 games. They've lost 3 games in a row.
I mean, can they use this opportunity to reset in the Champions League? Taye?
Yes, they have to. But they have a matchup against the wrong team. I think if it was maybe like a Porto or maybe even Dortmund, who's going to hell right now, they would have used it to have an opportunity to reset. But Atalanta, he's probably the trickiest team they can get. Outside of maybe the only team that would be trickier than Atalanta would have been Bayern Munich. But this is not a good matchup for them. Unfortunately,
I think they're playing RB Leipzig.
RB Leipzig.
I'm sorry, RB Leipzig.
Yeah.
RB Leipzig. I guess it's a good matchup for them. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. I guess a good matchup for them in the sense that RB Leipzig is not that consistent. Last game though, well, what I was talking about Atlanta was Liverpool losing to Atlanta 2-0.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's why Atlanta came in, and Red Bull got lucky against United, to qualify and stay in the Champions League. So they both team play high line. The high line is going to be Red Bull's downfall, because I've watched a game in Bundesliga and I see that you can't really play high line. I think, Kyle, you and I have talked about this offline. I don't think you can play a high line against a Liverpool team, right? That Liverpool front 3 is going to tear apart any high line, because all you need is for Mane to drop and Salah to stretch the team, and they can switch the ball and boom, there they go. But we all know Liverpool's problem right now is defense. So I think it's going to be, I think Liverpool will still win. I can give you a score prediction. I would say 3-1 to win that game. And yeah, it's gonna be a win with 2 legs.
So I'm going to direct this question to Kyle, and I think I'm going to come to you. So we know Liverpool's weakness is actually their strength, right? The fullbacks. The fullbacks are their strength, but they're also their weakness.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that we know RB Leipzig do very well, is use that 3-5-2 formation where the wingbacks basically terrorize any fullback. They pin them back and they use the fullbacks, and they use a false 9 in the middle to kind of help. That's what they used to beat United. I mean, Kyle, how do you see this going with Angelino and Haidara playing left and right wing back against Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold? What do you think is going to happen?
It's a very good game, isn't it? Because you've got a very out of form Liverpool side who look like not shallow what they were last year. And it's a little point. Obviously, the sides are different, but the 3-5-2 is a bit of a similar system that Pep played a few years back. If you remember when they beat them 5-0 at the, I think it was the Etihad. Klopp struggles with a 3-5-2. He does struggle against it. But like Ty said, you've got Sadio Mane, Salah, 2 world class. As much as I hate them because they play for Liverpool, but 2 very world class players. And I think the overlapping runs from them fullbacks are so dangerous, but they don't look like they can score a lot of goals at the moment. So if they haven't got goals, then they're just putting balls into the box, aren't they? Leipzig game, I've got it up here. Liverpool have lost the last 3 on the bounce. In the last 6 games, they've lost 4 games. And that's to a 3-2 loss to Manchester United, a 1-0 loss to Brighton, a 4-1 loss at home to City, and a 3-1 loss to Leicester. And where's Leipzig? You've got Leipzig. In their last 6, they've won 5 and lost 1. So it's a very interesting game. 2 very similar, not really defensive fullbacks, very offensive. 2 managers, good 2 managers. It's going to be an interesting game. Do you want me to give me your score prediction? Or
let's wait to score prediction. I think I go to Idea. Carl raised a good point about the back 3 against Liverpool. I think Leicester played a back 3 against Liverpool just last weekend. Right? They played a back 3 against Liverpool. Yeah. Atalanta played a back 3 against Liverpool. Ancelotti played a back 3 against Liverpool. Brighton played a back 3 against Liverpool. Even City, we actually played this hybrid 3-1-3-3 against Liverpool, and they struggled.
Yeah. So with the, go ahead. Actually,
no, you go ahead. Thoughts on it?
I think RB Leipzig creates a problem for Liverpool. Liverpool need an easy game, like Ty said. They need a game where, they could just come in and relieve some stress from losing these games they've been losing in the EPL. Leipzig has been playing good. Leipzig is really, really good. They're second in the league right now, 5 points behind Bayern Munich. And the way they use Angelino has been something of a mystery to me. They've been using him in ways he plays in the middle. Sometimes he comes in as a winger. They don't really use him as we used him when he played for City. I mean, he's on loan to Leipzig, and we used him as a left back, and he's really shining when they put him in the middle, and he creates havoc. I think with the back 3 that Leipzig, I'm not saying that word right. Leipzig play with if Mukeli and I'm not saying his name right. Olmo, if they help out, that's going to create problems for Robertson and what's his name, Alexander-Arnold, because they won't have that space to operate. And the thing about what you said, where their strengths are their weakness, I think we've all realized that Alexander-Arnold's problem is defense. He doesn't realize he's a defender first. Robertson is better at his primary job than Alexander is at his primary job. At the offensive aspect of things, Alexander-Arnold is great. He'll go in, he'll cross in. I think at one point, people fancied him to be a midfielder like Kevin De Bruyne. I think his primary job, he should take ownership of, which is defending. And he's not really good at that. So if he's going to push up and leave that space behind, I think Leipzig is going to burn them. I think Leipzig wins this game if Pep doesn't come out and be pragmatic and a little bit cautious of the team he's playing. If he comes out guns blazing like he did against Leicester, they're going to lose.
Well, here is a good point. And Idris says here, if Liverpool put their chances away early, they'll be fine. They haven't been consistent up front, which will keep others in the game. So you do have a point about that. Angelino is actually the top scorer for Bundesliga for RB Leipzig. And,
wow, I didn't know that.
And in the Bundesliga, RB Leipzig have the best defensive record. Better than Bayern Munich.
They're very good. I mean, a lot of people sleep on them because Bayern is the cream of the crop, and they basically steal all the other players from the other teams. But
I have an interesting question for you guys though, before we get into scoreline. As a coach, would you start Alisson or use this opportunity to give him a break?
No, I'm starting Alisson.
With the last 2 games.
I'm not even gonna let you finish. I start Alisson. Alisson, he's done so much. He's in a bad form the last 2 games. I don't think you take away one of your star players to punish him in a big game like this. I think that makes no sense.
So
that's a good point.
Go ahead.
Because the thing is he might make one error leading to goal, which is always too much. But I think if you look at it, you look to the number 2, which I think is Adrian, and he can't save. So it's Alisson will make 3-4 great plays that can keep Liverpool in the game. where Adrian will make, if he hit them 3 shots facing at him, will all be goals. Let's not act like Alisson did make a great season against City. Yes, he gave the ball away and turned into a world-class midfielder with them 3 beautiful assists against City.
Cal's right. You're spot on.
Yeah, but again,
this is a question because
great saves.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, just it's a question because a lot of fans have been saying maybe listen, I know I'm a big fan of having given a player the opportunity to pitch their problems if they can. I
think the problem is that Adrian is your choice. And the last time Adrian played in the Champions League was against Atletico Madrid, and they were kicked out of the Champions League. So I don't think Adrian.
No
I think
way.
You have to do that. But let's talk about real quickly. We talked about formation, tactics. Who plays centre back for Liverpool?
That's a tough one. So
Shagun Wolabi, I can see you online. You're a Liverpool fan. Let us know who would you play as centre back for Liverpool?
You know what's funny? I will play the same centre back. If they play look, the City game. I mean, if we're brutally honest about the City game, and this is why I say play Henderson and Fabinho if they're healthy. The City game was pretty much even until Alisson made that blunder. And I think with City understanding the way Alisson plays out from the back, it helped us a lot. And then we were able to snatch that ball. Boom. Next thing you know, it's a goal. He made the same mistake twice. If you take out those 2 goals, they had an even game. So Fabinho and Henderson were doing a great job before Alisson did that blunder. And, I think then they had to play Leicester again, another counter-attacking team. And it was just a lot for them. But I think they go back to playing those 2 for right now. Don't play those kids. That would be a mistake.
Yeah, so I want to piggyback on what Ade just said about that game and why we forced Alisson into those mistakes. It wasn't just Alisson likes to play from the right to the left. He only builds out with Robertson on the left because he's right-footed. So they knew that was going to happen, and they put pressure on him and they forced a mistake. But Ty, you were going to say? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I know Milner is injured now and he can't play. But all this time, I don't know why he hasn't tried Milner as a center back. Right? Playing Henderson as a center back definitely makes sense. Don't get me wrong. That's your easier choice. But Milner should have been the next choice for center back. Unfortunately, I don't know why he hasn't tried him. Right? Because Milner, he's calm, he's mature, he can control the back, which is what you need. That's what Van Dijk gives them. Someone that can control the back and slow everything down while you have your right back and your left back flanking forward. With Henderson not being in that middle, they're really, really missing him, right? Of course, now you have no choice. You got to play him. The question is, who do you play with him? Do you play, what's his name, Kabak or one of the new guys you get? I would say go back to Kabak and pair him with Henderson. That's the only choice. I don't know what's the situation with Jota, though. Jota needs to come back because
he's still injured.
Shagun
says Fabinho is probable for the game. So would you have Fabinho and the kid Kabak in the centre back? Those two.
If he's probable, then they have to play one of those kids. Isn't it?
You gotta go Henderson. You gotta go Henderson and Fabinho. If it's
so Thiago plays.
He's saying Fabinho is probable for that.
Yeah.
So if he's probable, they gotta play one of those. Oh kids. Man, that's tough. They gotta play one of those kids, and I think that's in a game where you need experience. That's a bit of a problem. We'll see. I don't know.
The main problem I think Liverpool will have with playing a midfielder in a centre back is if RB likes to play a false 9, which they normally play, the rotation of that false 9 for a defender who's a natural defender, it becomes difficult because it's about timing, it's about your decision making, it's about habits, how you defend versus.
Yeah, but that's why I go back to the City game. In the City game, we did the same thing. We played a false 9, and it was even. It was even. I mean, we had a possession. If you go back to the game, they had 54% of the possession. We had 40, whatever it was. But again, I don't see that being an issue because you have experience in the back. But now that he's saying Fabinho is probable, that's a tough one. The false 9 you're talking about comes into play if we're talking about them pairing a kid with Henderson. You need Henderson in the back. I will go with Henderson more than Milner because of the height for set pieces. Milner's a bit small and he's not as fast as Henderson. So I would definitely go with Henderson, but I don't know who you pair with him now. That's a tough one.
So Kyle, if Henderson plays centre back, Thiago has to play midfield, right? And what do you think of him so far with Liverpool, Thiago?
I don't think Thiago's set any. I don't think he's done, I think, as well as a lot of people expected. But I just want to touch on the centre-back point, which I think is probably the most important thing, I think, in this kind of game, isn't it? And I think everyone's like, why try Milner there? The problem if you try like a Milner centre-back is he's a bit like, he's not nowhere near on quality to Fernandinho, but he'll make those them tackles, doesn't he? Them tactical fouls, but you can't do that as a centre-half. You really can't. If you make an error in the midfield, that you can maybe be saved. If you make an error at centre-back, you're not going to get saved a lot of the time. And I think you look at it, is Kabak, is that young lad that they bought from Preston, are they ready enough? Kabak conceded 15 goals in 7 games or something like that for Schalke when he was there. So, you look at that. I've read that Fabinho is probable, but he will be assessed to see if he's fit. Again, if you take Henderson and Fabinho and put them at centre-half, you're taking out two midfielders that offer something different. Curtis Jones, Wijnaldum, and Milner all played last week on the weekend. They all offer the same kind of thing, don't they? They're all box-to-box midfielders. Don't really do one thing exceptional, do they? They don't really defend exceptionally well. They don't really attack exceptionally well. They're just there to control the ball. Where I think as well, you look at Leipzig. Something I've noticed is they are very interchangeable positions. They have Holstenberg, who's naturally a left back, who's played centre back all season. Klostermans can play right back, but has played centre back this season. Mukaleli is a centre back, but has played right back. Angelino's a left back, but plays on the wing. So that's a big problem for Liverpool. They could play, Leipzig can play 3-4 players in different positions throughout the game and switch it up and alternate if the game's not going their way. Where you look at Liverpool, they can't do that now because they haven't got a Virgil van Dijk. Fabinho could be out. I think Milner's out. So that's a lot of players who are out for Liverpool, and yeah, it's worrying if you're Klopp, because who do you choose at that back line? Because realistically, Trent should be dropped, but the format Liverpool are in, you can't drop Trent because there's no cover. You know what I mean? They're in a tough position with that back line, and that's what will cost them against a high-playing Leipzig side with exceptional wing backs.
Right. Let's talk about score predictions. I mean, this has been a great discussion. I'm excited about all these games. I think the level of analysis and content that we have nowadays. If you're a coach, Ty and I are coaches, and with kids' teams, but we learn so much from all these games and all this analysis is out there. Let's talk about score predictions. Adi, what do you think the score is going to be? First leg away at is it Bucharest, Romania, or where is it again? I think so. Yeah,
Bucharest. Depending on who plays for Liverpool, I mean, which I don't know who they're going to play in the back. If they're pairing a young kid with Henderson, I see Leipzig pulling this one out 2-1.
Yeah. Ty?
I'll go with Liverpool 3-1. I think that attacking three is going to get there. They got to click somewhere sooner or later. And they're going to eat one goal because they don't have a defense. But Alisson will be back, and I'm giving them the edge 3-1.
Carl, when was the last time Liverpool won an away game in the Champions League?
Jesus. They won an away game. They won an away game.
Was Roma?
No, Atletico. They beat Atletico away.
No, they didn't. They lost. Away.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Roma. 2017 or 18.
Did they not win a game away this season? Didn't they beat Ajax? I'm pretty sure they beat Ajax.
Oh, yeah, Ajax. You're right. Ajax.
I think they beat Atalanta away from home.
You're right.
So they've got a pretty good run in there away from home in the Champions League. But again, you look at my score predictions. I don't want to sound biased here because I'm an Everton fan. It is hard, isn't it? But I think you've got to take into account there's so many injuries and you can't rely on players out of position. I think City found that out the hard way last year. You can't expect the right back to come into centre. You can't expect Fernandinho to come into centre back. You can't expect that week in, week out. You've got to have even with injuries, you've got to have that stable back line where they all trust each other. And I don't think Thiago will. I think Thiago could get played off the park by Haidara and by Campbell, two very good, strong midfielders. Like I said, everyone in that Leipzig team can all interchange into different positions. They've got, I think it's a number 10 as a striker with Poulsen and Kunku. They've got so many different positions that people can play. And that's the one thing. Klopp can't really go into a 4-5-1. He can't go into a 3 at the back because he doesn't have them resources where Nagelsmann has 4 or 5 different formations that you can play in the game. So I'm going for a tight 1-0 game for Leipzig.
Wow. I think it's going to be. I think Liverpool may edge it 2-1. But again, it depends on who starts. If he starts kids at the back, then I think Leipzig may tie this game maybe 1-1 or 2-2.
Look what they did to United. They played United off the park, didn't they? So
yeah. Oh yeah, 3-0. Okay, very good. Let's quickly move on to the next game, Sevilla versus Dortmund. So this game I'm really excited about because I think this game is probably the most open of the lot on Wednesday. We have a Sevilla team that's on form, bang on form, playing some brilliant football. They are a cup team, Europa League champions. They are really hard to play against. They have some new players. Papu Gomez from Atalanta plays for them. Jules Koundé. If Chelsea need a defender next year, the number one defender you should be going after is Jules Koundé, not Koulibaly.
Carl,
if Liverpool need a defender, they should go after Jules Koundé. This kid is the real deal. Go ahead.
Isn't Papu Gomez cup tied?
No, no. Champions League doesn't apply anymore. They changed the rules.
Yeah, they changed the rules.
That's good then, because I was going to say that's a big loss, isn't it? Because he's a class player.
Sevilla now have Ivan Rakitic. Now, Dortmund have Haaland. They have Gio Reyna. They have Sancho. But I just feel that Dortmund just failed to live up to expectations. I mean, Ade, what do you think?
Dortmund are not in a good form right now. They have Haaland, but I think outside of Haaland, Sancho is just on and off. He's not consistent. Reyna's good. I mean, he's inexperienced, but he's good. But that's just an attack. That's just from the attacking aspect. Those guys concede goals. so if you like, defense wins championships. If you're not going to play defense, I don't care if Haaland scores and all these guys. You got to play defense at some point. So they don't play defense at all. I watch them play, and I'm just like, my goodness, it's like 2-0, and then you see them trying to come back. So I think Sevilla, with the experience, Sevilla knows how to play in Europe. They have won Europa for like how many games straight? I think Sevilla wins this game for me because Dortmund's just not consistent. Yeah.
Ty, as a coach, we learned today that Dortmund are going to replace their current manager. Actually, they replaced the former manager, Lucien Favre. They sacked him. They have an inexperienced coach now managing them. And today they announced that the coach of Gladbach is going to now be the new coach of Dortmund at the end of the season. How does that throw off the whole team? Does it throw them off?
In a way, yes, it does. In a way, it kind of throws them off because there's no consistent instruction. There's no consistent leadership from the top. Like Ade said, they can't defend to save their life. You want to score goals, you go score 2 goals, but you eat 4 at the back. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the coach, I don't even know why they sacked their old coach when you don't even have a good replacement. You don't have a guy that's going to fix the problem. Normally, you bring in the coach and you see a boost, when you bring in the coach. It's like they're not even going up. They boost down and they constantly go. So, I mean, I have Sevilla winning this. I think the Papu Gomez player is going to be a factor in it. Not that he can play. He's going to have to want to prove himself in Europe. Yeah. I just don't see. I don't see Dortmund doing this. I'm so disappointed. Right now, they're 6th in Bundesliga. They have no reason to be 6th.
Yeah, I agree.
They should be fighting for first.
Sevilla is coming off some good games. Sevilla beat Barcelona. The game against Barcelona when Rakitic played. Wow, they were brilliant. So I see that being an issue for them.
If Sevilla scores first, they're going to shut the door on Dortmund. And Dortmund is going to try to come out and get more goals, and then they're going to concede more goals. This is going to be a one-way traffic as far as goals is concerned.
Carl, Ty mentioned the fact that Dortmund are not doing well in the Bundesliga. They're currently 6th. How does that impact Haaland and Sancho come summertime?
Well,
what do you think? What's going to happen?
I think Haaland will stay. I think for me right now,
with no Champions League, Carl.
I think you've got to look into it. Is COVID times, isn't it? A lot of teams aren't going to go out and fork. Let's be honest. I think with Sancho, he's only going to cost 100 mil, which I think Sancho's pretty much gone to United. But I think Haaland's going to cost a lot of money at least 130 to 200 million. He's one of the top strikers in the world right now, and it's going to be an absolute bidding war. But I just want to touch on to this a bit of analysis here.
Yeah.
Borussia Dortmund have conceded 13 goals in their last 6 games. Sevilla have conceded none. Sevilla have also scored 12, but in their last 6 games, Sevilla have beaten. Let me just get it up. Sevilla have beaten Barcelona 2-0, SD Huesca 1-0, Getafe 3-0, Almeria 1-0, Eibar 2-0, and Valencia 3-0. Where Borussia Dortmund have had very high scoring games. They had the 4-2 against Borussia Mönchengladbach that they lost, the 3-2 that they lost, I think it was like a 5-3 that they had lost as well. So they're very vulnerable at the back, Dortmund, where Sevilla are very composed, they're very compact. Everyone plays for each other. And I think you look at that as, if Sevilla can stop Haaland in this game, or Sancho, they could take this away in the first leg. You know, we saw Papu Gomez at Atalanta. He is a underrated player. He's so brilliant at football that as a neutral, I love watching him. He can dictate the midfield. He can play on the wing. He can play as a number 9, as a solo forward. He can play literally any position in attack. He's so beautiful to watch. And I think, you know, Dortmund are in a tough position. They've not got a manager. Obviously, Marco Rose was appointed today, but for next season, but they've not got a player. I mean, a manager. They've not got a proper experienced manager. And you're playing Sevilla, who are on form, absolutely on form. It's worrying for Dortmund, isn't it?
Let's talk about predictions, scores for this game. Ade, what do you think?
This one, I see Sevilla scoring 3 goals. 3 goals. Maybe Haaland does magic, but the problem is you need someone to give Haaland. If Haaland gets the ball, if they're able to not contain, if Sevilla can contain their midfield and they feed Haaland the ball, he gets 2 goals. So maybe 3-2, but I'll say 3-1. I'll say 3-1 Sevilla.
Ty?
3-1 Sevilla.
Kyle?
2-0 Sevilla.
I'm going 3-1 Sevilla. I'll give Haaland a go. Who are you looking forward to seeing in this game? I'm looking forward to seeing Haaland and Jules Koundé.
I love watching Haaland play, man. I love watching that guy. I think he's the if you were going to make up a game and design a number 9, you would design Haaland. He's physical in the air. He can play in tight spaces. He can shoot from anywhere. He can pass. He's brilliant. I disagree with Kyle on this one. He doesn't stay at Dortmund if they're not. The guy is too ambitious. He's not going to play Europa. He's not going to.
They're going to sell him and Sancho though. In the
they're not going to have a choice. He's going to want out.
True.
You know how players going to use their muscle, especially star players. They can use their muscle and say, "Hey, I don't want to be here because we're not in Champions League. I don't want to play Europa," and they would have to deal him. You don't want a disgruntled player.
There's one problem that Dortmund are going to have. His agent is Raiola, and Raiola will force. The kid won't play. He can't play Europa League.
He's not playing Europa League at all.
So anyway,
and another reason why I don't think Haaland will be as successful against Seville is because Bundesliga in general, they play very high line. So you can, if you're a striker, and you don't have to push the ball behind the defense. In Bundesliga, you can get a lot of goals. But in Spanish League and the way Sevilla plays, you don't have that opportunity. It's not going to work. That's one reason why Timo struggles with Chelsea compared to what he struggled with, how he played with the Bundesliga, because he's not getting behind anybody with just a toe poke. This is not Bundesliga. That's Bundesliga. No, this is EBL. Same thing with Sevilla.
I agree with Ty.
Going to give it that opportunity. So
I agree with Ty.
I think Haaland, if he gets 1 goal, it's luck. That 1-2-1 I gave them is actually it's not gonna come from Haaland. It's gonna come from somebody.
Sevilla is just too experienced at this stuff, and that's the problem. They're just too experienced.
They don't play Haaland. They play low block in the third half, and they just defend and then they move the ball around.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to seeing: Jules Koundé versus Haaland. That's going to be, and this is going to be a matchup that I'm really going to enjoy. But as you said, Sevilla transition football, they're brilliant at it. So we have one more game in the Champions League. So for this week, Porto Juve. Is this a banana skin for Juve? Could it be?
What? Say that again. Repeat.
Porto versus Juventus.
Yeah. What was the question? You said you asked something.
Is it a banana skin for Juventus? This game.
What do you mean by banana?
Like
could this game be a tricky game for Juventus versus Porto?
Porto, I can go first. Porto, the way they played us in Champions League, that team is feisty. Their manager is feisty. I think the last 2 games they played, 2 of the players got sent off against I forget who it was, but it was maybe their version of the FA Cup that they have in England, and they kind of emulate their manager. If they play the way they play City, I think this could be a tricky game for Juventus because that team is very fiery and feisty, man. So
those guys are
kind of tricky.
They're difficult. They're very tough. Carl, you have any insight into Porto Juventus? What do you think?
I think it's a very good game, but Porto have won 2 out their last 6. They've had I think they've had 4 draws and 2 wins in their last 6. So they're still unbeaten in the last 6. Where Juventus have had Juventus seem to be a bit like Barca, don't they, with the inexperienced manager at the top level, very up and down. In their last 6, the last game was a loss to Napoli, a draw to Inter Milan, a win against Roma, a win against Inter Milan in the Cup, a win against Sampdoria, and an absolute battering on Spal 4-0. And then I think so they are very good, aren't they, with Ronaldo? So it's one of them. If somehow, some way, if they can keep Ronaldo quiet or Dybala, then they have a chance. But come on, it's Ronaldo, and we know what he's like in the Champions League. Different class, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ty, that other guy. Sorry, go ahead, Ty.
I mean, Porto is one of those teams that I don't watch often. So, of course, we all see them in Champions League, but I just look at their record. They're informing their league. But I still think Juve is going to win the game. Yeah. But I'm a little bit worried about Pirlo as a coach. If you notice recently, when he first got the job, he was all about the 3 in the bag and, things he learned in his coaching and experience. But recently, he's been a little bit adaptive and changed to 4-4-2, which has kind of worked to their advantage, But playing 4-4-2, now you don't have that extra help in the middle, right? And sometimes I question his lineup because I forgot what game I was watching, and McKinney was on the bench. And I'm like, how are you going to play 4-4-2 without the strongest midfielder you have? So now you are playing 4-4-2 with 2 6s. Who's going to go up front and help you attack and deliver the ball to the 2 in front, when you're playing too deep with 4-4-2. That's one reason why I think the game is going to be very, very tricky for Juventus, but they will win.
Yeah, fantastic. I think they win. I think they win as well because you have Ronaldo, you have Alvaro Morata that's playing very well. Things have been a little difficult for them, more so because the strength of AC Milan and Inter Milan this year. So they haven't had it as easy as they had it the previous year. But
absolutely,
I think Juve win. They'll be tricky, but I think they win.
Okay, so we all agree that Juventus is going to win this game and this time. Moving on. Okay, let's turn the page to Thursday Night Football real quick and just give them a fleeting discussion. But it's only
university.
But do you guys find that Europa League actually these days is actually quite interesting actually? Because it's actually it's quite interesting, right? Nowadays. I mean, Carl, Ty, what do you guys think?
I like it. I just don't want to play in it. And if I play in it,
I'll play in it. I'd love for us to play in it.
Of course you will, Carl. Of course you will.
we hope you do too, Carl. Seriously, because you guys need to get into Europe for Ancelotti's sake and for the players that you have.
Yeah.
But Benfica, Arsenal. I mean, is this Arsenal's only chance to get in Champions League to win Europa League?
Yeah.
That's their best chance, but they're not going to win it.
It is their best chance, but I agree with Ty. I don't think they win it, but it's their best chance to win, to get in Champions League.
It's incredible, man. It's incredible. Arsenal, it's just incredible. They were 10th now in the league.
Yes, the 10th, because they beat Leeds 3-0. 3-4-2.
And they have some difficult games coming up. They have City. And then they have who else do they have next?
They have City, Benfica again in the Europa League. Then you've got Leicester, Burnley, Tottenham, West Ham, Liverpool, and Sheffield, Fulham, and then us.
Jeez,
that's tough.
That's
a fun point here. Is Benfica? It's that 4th in the Portuguese league, which isn't very good for them. But on the other hand, we know how inconsistent Arsenal are. Not just that, they haven't got the mentality, have they, where if one player gets sent off, that's something I do. It's a very old way of playing, isn't it? It's like a Burnley way. You get the Arsenal players riled up, so Gabriel, Xhaka, they make a mistake. Because once they get a red card or something goes there, a VAR decision goes against them, they fall off. Look how against Wolves, I think it was can't remember, he got sent off against Wolves, but David Luiz, the tackle on, I think it was William Jose, when he made that tackle, he absolutely fell apart. And I love Arteta because of what he did for my club. You know, he's a great Everton player, but I don't think he's got the tactical awareness to take Arsenal forward, and I don't see them winning the Europa League. I don't see them winning this game, to be honest.
Wow, it's a big call.
League. This is Tottenham's best chance also to make Champions League. Correct. But I don't because without Sevilla in it, it's open for everybody. If Sevilla was in it, we know who's going to win it, or at least who has the best chance to win it. But it's open for anybody. I just don't see them winning it. I mean, I'm looking at all the teams in it. I don't know who is going to win it. So it's going to be Man U also. It's another team that could win it.
Well, wait, Man U is in Europa?
Yeah, they are. So they got knocked out. Remember?
Oh, they got dropped down. Oh, that hurt.
Leipzig. So
like
let's
Istanbul,
talk about. Yeah, Istanbul. Wait, that was comical. Remember that game?
So
the defending when everybody was in the other half and
Harry Maguire.
And Dembaba got the ball and ran. Remember that goal?
Yeah.
But United play Real Sociedad on Thursday, so David Silva gets to play.
Oh my God, David Silva! I miss him so much.
Yeah, so that's a good game to watch. What's going to happen in that game, Ade and Carl?
With my guy David Silva causing havoc in the middle, I think United still win. I'm not going to try to be funny. I think United just have too much firepower, and they'll pull that one off.
There's some good teams in Europa this year, man. There's AC Milan. I think it's AC Milan there. I think they are.
AC Milan are there. Tottenham are there. I think Bayern Leverkusen are there.
Leverkusen are a good team, by the way. They're good.
There's loads of good teams. There's a French team in there as well, but I don't know if there is, but I'm sure there's a French team in there, but I could be mistaken.
Yeah, Fisaya says Tottenham can win it, or that's Uncle Jose's his friend.
Of course he can win. What do you expect him to say?
I think this game for United they're a side that, and I've said this to you, Carl, sometimes they look like what they should look like. They look like a team that can go out and beat anyone. They look so good sometimes, and then some games they look awful. It's weird, like, and again, it's one of them, and it depends what United turn up. If it's United that turn up against West Brom, who are very, very fear Sociedad, you cannot fear David Silva. You cannot show a player as good as David Silva is one of the best midfielders I've ever seen. You cannot show him. If you show him too much respect, he will ping them balls. He will find them little areas of space between Harry Maguire, because Harry Maguire is terrible. And I don't know who else. The back line is dreadful. And David Silva will find them little beautiful passes and just break that defence open. But again, United, it'll be the battle of midfield, in my opinion. Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, and Scott McTominay. I think and they've got Marino, David Silva, and I can't remember who else. But it depends who wins that midfield battle. Whoever wins that midfield battle will probably win the game.
I agree. And kind of that's a wrap up for you Champions League and Europa League, guys. Tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday, exciting games across Europe. I'm excited about watching these games because it takes us away from the Premier League and from the FA Cup into Europe, and opens up a whole new Pandora's box of games that we can watch and enjoy. I want to thank the guys for coming on. Carl, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate you. Love the analysis, and I wish you luck on Wednesday. Not too much luck, but I wish you some luck on Wednesday. Everton deserves to be in Europe, in my opinion, and I hope that you guys make it through. Ty, fantastic, my co-host and co-pilot. Thanks for coming on. Congrats to Chelsea for getting up points. Top four is going to be interesting, man. The next couple of weeks.
Very interesting.
For sure.
Nothing's nailed on. Nothing is nailed on in that top four. It can't be anybody's.
By the way, I gave up my pipe dream of Chelsea winning the league.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. You just gave up that? Really? Okay.
Hey, I'm just being honest.
But it's good. It is going to be. I mean, you have so many teams. You have Chelsea there. Chelsea has probably the best run now going towards the top four. Liverpool have some difficult games against Everton coming up. Right? United closed the season with some very. Leicester's last 4 games of the season are dreadful.
Yeah. Don't write out West Ham. They've got, trust me, I know Moyes, as horrible as he is, and as much as I hate him for leaving us to go to United, The way he goes to teams and he makes them a good side. They're so compact, so composed. Moyes do not sleep on West Ham. They did impress me, West Ham. They're really impressing me.
Fantastic. Everton also have a chance as well. You have 2 games in hand. You could, you never know. So it's going to be
typical Everton, that, isn't it? Typical Everton. To put us into the top 4, we've got to play Man City away and Liverpool away. Great. Typical Everton.
But anyway, I want to thank you guys for coming on. I really enjoyed this chat with from Ade. Thank you. Any last words?
Go City.
Ty?
Let's have fun. It's going to be a good game. I'm still mad at both games at the same time, but I'll get over it.
I'm so pissed at that, man. And then, Carl, thank you for joining us all the way from England. It's probably, 2 a.m. in the morning now, your time?
Yeah, it's 5 minutes to 2 a.m., yeah.
Jeez.
I just want to say thanks for having me on, and great to meet you. And Addy and Ty, you're 2 great lads.
Oh, it's great meeting you, Cal.
Absolutely. And you're welcome anytime, man.
Staying up, man. We appreciate you staying up.
Looking forward to hear more of you on this show.
Absolutely. And guys, thank you again so much for joining us here at Afrobeat Live Fan Zone in collaboration with Pitch Points. We love this. This is what we do. We talk about football. We love the games. We watch the games. We are true fans of our clubs. And until next time, we'll see you soon.